Adapu, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Harun Nefer. This is Kasank Keperu with another video for you. And in this video, I want to talk about an interesting subject, which is called the ruling elite's distraction. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. Also, if you're not already a Patreon supporter, please consider doing so. You can become a supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. You can cancel at any time, and you get exclusive access to instructional videos, videos on the esoteric and the spiritual, Qigong videos, meditation videos, videos on manifesting more money in your life, and videos on how to communicate with the ancestors, and also get your oracle readings as well. So becoming a Patreon supporter. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. Okay, Hetep. I wanted to make a quick video to talk about a couple of things that are very, very important that we have to keep in mind. And this, in a way, kind of relates to COVID-19 because I think this is a perfect opportunity to see through our government, see through the administration. Now, one of the things that we should be all advocating for is a revolution, and this is kind of symbolized. Oh, I don't even think I have it right here by the tower and the tarot deck. Let me see if I do have that. Do I have that? No, I'll have it handy. But the tarot gives a really nice illustration of different forces that govern your life and what the impacts are. You know. The tower is a bringing down of the false basis of a society that was built on pretty flimsy principles, and the tower crumbles down, you know. And when we're looking at our society and thinking about the problems that are wrong with it, we tend to what's the term called? Compartmentalize, or look at things in compartments that have no relationship to one another and that they are disassociated from each other. But you have to all understand that this system has been created to imprison your mind, to remove you of your powers, and that everything in it forms that matrix or that net, and it contributes to the well-being of the whole, which is directly opposed to who you are. And one of the things this comes in the form of is our government, our leadership. Now, I want you to understand this very clearly. There are people out there, and I'm looking at the memes that are coming out and discussions that are going on that are projecting their unhappiness with Trump. And it comes in different things, such as with COVID-19, the economy, things he's doing in his office. But we have to keep in mind, because we keep falling for these distractions, that Trump is not the issue. The Senate is not the issue. Congress is not the issue. The vice presidency is not the issue. You are looking at an entire system, a network that has to be brought down because it's built on shaky foundation, and it will come down eventually. They know it will. It's built on lies, deceit, and it's not for the people, you see. But every 4 years, we're elected a new president, and the game is repeated: wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And we keep falling for the deceptions and the distractions, which speaks to our intelligence level. We're pretty akin to sheep. We just follow. We just do what we're told. If they say vote, we vote every 4 years. And you will notice that if you look at the people that are in office and that are put in office, that's exactly what I said, put in office, they go along with the past administration's agenda. And that's telling you that there's something behind the scenes that's pulling the strings. In other words, there are certain things in this country that are a mainstay that don't change, no matter that the presidency changes. We have failed to see through this, and we have gone along with our own demise. We've gone along with the plan. And I always talk about the thing of not being polarized in one way of thinking, like, oh, good versus evil, you know, right versus wrong, Democrat versus Republican. That can get you, that type of Hegelian dialectic can get you into a lot of trouble. So you have to understand that although you have a presidency, and although there are forces behind him that are really pulling the strings, he does have some freedom and parameters, very limited, but he does have some. And that is meant to be an illusion of agency. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to be a contributor and a supporter to this system. Trump is not the issue. COVID-19 is not the issue. You've got to look deeper into things. You've got to say that the system itself is flawed. The structure is built on bad foundation. It must be changed. It must come down. If I walk into a Christian ministry and I listen to the Christian teacher or the priest or whatever up on the pulpit, and he's teaching, I'm not going to get caught up into an argument on the exact birth date of Jesus, because it's a fictional character. So that's a waste of my time to get caught up on the exact birth date. And yet we get caught up in what political agenda is being pushed to the forefront based on how much money special interest groups have to push their issues to the forefront. So we debate over these issues, the right to life, Second Amendment, and it goes on and on and on. Those are not what you should be focused on, all right? We should be talking about things like, why is there a shadow government? Who is operating behind the scenes? Why is there a plan to depopulate the planet? Why is our universities and education system only servicing the privileged and only set up to dumb down the masses? These are the issues. Why is there such an interest in Africa? Why are you gutting it of its natural resources? Why is countries like Nigeria getting further in debt, and Chinese interest is getting more embedded in Africa? Why are they so interested in Africa? But you see, these issues are purposely kept from the limelight and not discussed. Why are we not taking an audit of the former administration and saying, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, based on that, we're going to now hold a trial of treason? Why are we not doing that? When I walk into a church, if I ever were to do that, and it's not going to happen, the only thing I will be there to do is make a citizen's arrest of the preacher. I would literally call for his arrest for, number one, spreading lies, telling lies, distorting history, knowing full well that Jesus didn't exist, and Jesus is a plagiarized version of the god Osir or Osiris. I would call for his arrest for what has been done during slavery and to the Native Americans, and that he is preaching the same doctrines that they used to enslave Africans and Native Americans. I would call for his arrest. I would call for the breaking down of the current religious structure, because it is not serving us. It is removing our powers. It is getting us to place our faith into illusions, into external figures. And by way of doing that, you remove yourself from a position of power and of magic. I would go into the universities and I would hold all of those professors as directly robbing the students of their tuition money and teaching a system that fails them in life. Teaching subjects and disciplines that have no real world application, and not even teaching based on a failed system, and also teaching in the wrong way, because you have to learn that teaching has to go in accordance with a person's processing faculty. So if I'm a textile learner, you got to be textile in the way you approach and teach me. If I'm an auditory learner, you got to teach me in a way that's auditory. Basic stuff. But no, it's all based on test taking and memorization. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is you're getting caught up in these minute details and having like big discussions about these things when they aren't even the problem. Case in point, why is everybody talking about the LGBTQ issues? For a population of less than 2% in the United States, how did that become a major issue or a major topic of discussion? That marginalized African Americans in this country that represent what, 12 to 15%, depending on the study. These things are distractions. People say, well, and it happens every 4 years. The Republicans put a candidate up for office that is mind-boggling stupid. The Democrats don't do any better. And then you're asked to choose from bad to worse. Aren't you tired of this? The people need to start demanding real issues be put to the forefront. And let's discuss vaccines, vaccinations. What's going on with that? What should be happening right now is the masses of people should be calling for trials in our government to hold people accountable for what was done during COVID-19 because we were lied to. It's as simple as that. It was not as much as a threat as we were told. It was used as a means to destroy the economy and destroy people on lower income because they're the most affected by it. It devastated them. The robbing of your freedoms, not being able to go out and go where you want to do and do what you want to do. That's ludicrous that we accept this. It's insane. And yet we allow the politicians to decide the issues that will be discussed. No, we don't want to talk about those issues. We want to talk about arrests. We want to talk about arresting George Bush. We want to talk about arresting Obama. We want to talk about having trials to see who was responsible for COVID-19 and then making sure that justice is served. We want to talk about who rewrote the religious doctrines, who plagiarized them, and that we know that they're teaching a lie. So we want to hold them accountable for it. There's no accountability because this system is acting independently and it's got us in such a mindset that we become passionate over the dumbest things. Over the dumbest things. That's because we're manipulated by them and we play into their games. And the reason that they're still there and that things are still the way they are is because as a population, our vibration, our mindset has not changed. Therefore, we are fueling them like a battery. We're giving them power. We're giving them energy. But if we were to start to really practice the spiritual culture of our ancestors, then we would start to see things in a radically different perspective. And then like the tower in the tarot, it would start crumbling down. And I tell people, I give them a test and look at this tower and tell me what you see. And if all you can see is something negative, then you got some issues going on in your psyche. Because to me, that can be very positive. That can mean a change for the good, bringing down an old bad structure. Stop with the memes of Trump talking about how stupid he is. He's a distraction. He's not the real leader. You're dealing with a shadow government of individuals you'll never see, but they're manipulating things behind the scenes. Don't you get that? That's what we should be bringing up for discussion. Let's bring up for the discussion that a lot of money from the budget each year goes into Black Ops projects. What's going on with that? What are we researching? What are we doing? Why is so much money going to those projects? And why is it just disappearing? Why are noted scientists who are coming up with cures and revolutionary inventions are suddenly dying? What's going on with that? But they manipulate you so much that you bring these things up, you call conspiracy theorists, and then you're marginalized. But no, these are the topics we need to talk about. And we have not done a good enough job to bring it up. How do you have over 100 million Africans die in the North Atlantic slave trade, and that not be the preeminent discussion of the century? How do we allow them to get away with that? How do we allow them to get away with saying, hey, you know what? We're going to limit where you can go, what you can do, and you have to wear this crazy ass mask. How do you allow them to get away with that? I told you, the first COVID-19 video I made, I told you that the so-called coronavirus was not as lethal, as deadly as they claimed, and that the projections of deaths were greatly exaggerated. And I said this, I said, what are they going to start to do, or what will they do when they can't meet their quota of deaths? And case in point, now you see it. You go into the hospital, you pass away of cancer, lung failure, kidney failure, whatever, and then they test you and say, oh, you got COVID-19, so he died from complications after being tested for COVID-19. And they chalk that one death up to COVID-19 death to increase the numbers. And that's what they're doing. Because they can't meet their quota. It was never a real threat. They knew that. It was only a means to restructure the economy, to destroy the economy. No real scientific data to tell us, okay, exactly when can things reopen based on the decreased number of infections, based on it spreading to this amount of states. What are we looking at? What are the goals? We know nothing about that. There's no information about that whatsoever. But we do hear more about vaccines maybe coming. Again, we're allowing them to determine the talking points. And the hell with modern media, because modern media works for them. So don't look for the modern media to give you any solutions or give you really answers. They're not really investigative reporters. They don't investigate jack. They just make sure that what they talk about conforms to the way that they want you to think. Obama was a horrible president, a horrible president. But people look at him as he worked magic in doing something. You see, it takes guts to stand up before the world court and say, there is a concerted effort to eliminate people of color from the planet, and we must do something about this. We must talk about who is the culprits, who are the diabolical, sick bastards responsible for running this agenda, and why aren't we talking about it? But they compartmentalize this by saying, oh, that's under the category of white supremacists with neo-Nazis and Hitler. That's not really a widespread psychosis. Of course it is. It is a widespread psychosis. But modern psychology doesn't want to admit it because it means pointing a finger back on them who are in positions of power, which are who? White people. So they don't want you to know that the masses of white people have inherently a certain perspective on the world that precludes harmony and balance. Can't say it any simpler than that. No person of color on this planet has ever enslaved the masses or committed genocide based on skin color. So that's telling you where it's really coming from. Now, You've got to understand the Cometian mindset, the African mindset. I'm talking about the traditional mindset. Listen to me, please. Please listen to me so you may understand what I'm talking about, because this is coming from the mouth of Jehute, Hermes Trismegistus, my father, Tahuti. Please listen to what I am saying. Although I am saying to you that racism and the fight for global domination on this planet by a white elite who are evil in nature and who want to rid the planet first of people of color, then rid the planet of the majority of the white population. Understand that what I'm saying here, that modern psychology has to admit at some point in time that white people suffer from polarized segregative thought process where they cannot see harmony. They cannot see that the halves are a part of the whole. That's their narrow-minded focus, and that gives rise to racism. Now, because I say that, the masses of white people suffer from this, and they are imposing this perspective on the world to get the world to think in linear space-time, the world to think in left-brain ideology, does not mean that I'm dating a white girl is wrong, or that this black woman is dating a white man is wrong. You're an idiot if you think that. You're an idiot, and your learning processes, your intelligence faculties are not working correctly, because you cannot, for the basis of what I have said about this perspective, then naturally conclude on an individual level, oh, these people are evil. No, no, that's incorrect thinking. What kind of deduction are you doing from that? And this is what we have with a lot of the black nationalists. They take things too freaking far. And listen to what I'm saying. Pay careful attention, because this is going according to how your intelligence faculties are operating. Just because I say that, hey, you know what? We have to now focus on making sure that there's balance and harmony, and that African Americans are treated equally. I don't want to get into the whole equal thing, because there's a problem with that too, but we'll talk about that. You can't then come with LGBTQ and inject that in there and say, oh, they have to be treated equal too, because they're part, they're discriminated too. No, I'm sorry. No, you're relating two things, apples and oranges. I am sorry. Don't play that. But when you have a society of people in the masses who have not been educated in higher learning, who've not sat at the feet of Tahuti to learn, you're going to make these irrational, deductive leaps in logic. That's what you're going to do. There was a beautiful cable show called Battlestar Galactica. They dealt with some serious issues about how the machines, the Cylons, were trying to exterminate humans. So, in a way to deal with this, because there's only, I think, 500,000 humans left, or was it 500,000, I think? So they created a law saying that there could be no more abortions because every life is precious. That's an example of Ma'a thinking, relational thinking, because you have to look at the times, the circumstances, and then apply the law correctly. We have a habit of looking at things in isolation and then applying a law, blanket, generalized way. If I tell you that the population of African Americans is in danger, and that there's a concerted effort to depopulate the planet, and then you say, well, we got to promote the issues too. Yeah, we can promote that, but we also got to promote LGBTQ. Can you not see that there is a contradiction there? Oh no, but you're saying we should love one another and let live and respect everybody. That's natural. Of course we're going to respect everybody. Why wouldn't we? But that has nothing to do with the issue, because I'm not prone to violence against anyone. And there are certain segments of our society that are prone to violence and are murderous. We will be an intelligent society and a progressive society when we start holding trials. We start holding people accountable. We're letting them get away with stuff. We need to say, okay, we're going to do this investigation into COVID-19. We're going to find out who's responsible, and we're going to start cutting heads. The United States does it. They go over to foreign countries, topple the government, and have executions. Saddam Hussein. No trials, just quick executions. And you hear about it in the paper later. When you, as a citizen of this country, as a divine being, as a God, start to demand accountability from your ministers, from those who teach you in the universities, from our government, you're going to find that the ball game changes. And the conversation is going to go differently. You can go to Biden. All right, that's fine. Sure. You can come into office as long as you talk about reparations. If you do not talk about reparations, I'm bringing Haruka Hootie in here and we're going to cut your head off. Simple as that. Then everything changes. You can be president, Trump, but if you start a war, we're going to cut your head off. Every civilized society goes through trials. These people in our government are immune. They get away with murder. Literally get away with murder. Bill Gates getting away with murder. Him and his vaccines going into Africa. Do you know that these pharmaceutical companies and these missionaries have gone to Africa and destroyed and committed all kinds of atrocities in Africa, many of which we don't know, that are not in the modern media? But we don't put that as forefront of the issue. The mere fact that the religious institutions have lied and to make you believe that you're a human and not a god, hang them. Start hanging them. I wish I would meet Frederick Price. I wish I would meet T.D. Jakes. Who are the other big ones? There got to be some other big ones out there. I don't pay attention to any of them, so that would be if that would happen. We need to sell tickets to that. We can raise some serious money because there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fight, especially Creflo Dollar. You're going to see something. You see, I have a low tolerance for liars, deceivers, and murderers. I have a low tolerance for that. I'm not going to allow somebody to walk by me and let them get away with all of that. Because what they're preaching is also racism. The Bible and the way it was taught from the Western European perspective is very racist. And that hasn't gone away. It's still in there. But you have to think about the people who put it together, who authored it. King James, a pedophile. And the thing is, you see, with these ministers, they don't want you to study and read. So they don't promote the fact that you should be researching. They don't. They use that whole thing about faith and believing in God. I want you guys, we practice the art of being amen. Amen is at peace. And the reason why you are at peace, because you control your animal nature. And because you can control your animal nature, you can allow yourself to have an emotional reaction. You allow yourself, not that the animal nature has control over you, but you allow it. You need to get angry about this. You need to start demanding answers. We need to say, in closing down businesses for COVID-19, it will affect everyone in this country, and in particular, low-income African Americans. It's going to destroy them. So you're going to have to double down on any packages for them. But we let them get away with this, not doing it. Do you think a check for $1,200 is going to radically change their lives? It's not. But you're giving millions and billions away to these corporations. I see these people going and shaking Obama's hand and telling him about what a great lecture he did at an HBCU. Again, if I was there, you would need to pay tickets, because as soon as I shake his hand, I'd be like, so Obama, what's up with the Illuminati? Why didn't you fight for reparations for African Americans? Why did you push the LGBTQ community's agenda over African Americans' welfare being murdered in the streets by police, by militias? Why didn't you do something about that? Why are you trying to depopulate the planet? Why are you going along with their plan? What's up with these black ops projects and the missing money out of the treasury? What's up with all of that? Where's that money going? Questions need to be answered. We need to start holding them responsible. When you do that, you're going to shift the vibration of the planet, and you're going to see some radical stuff. When we start holding trials after the president leaves the office, you're going to see that the president is going to check themselves on what they do and make sure they're doing the right thing. But now they know they have immunity. They talk about Obama's going to be billionaires. How are you going to be a billionaire? Can you let me on that little secret what you did to get that, to amass that amount of money? That's crazy. So I wanted to point out that we can't get caught up in these distractions of debating these little small issues when there are bigger things at stake that we need to start looking at. And unless we call them out on this, they're going to just operate as they always have. Every 4 years, put a new person in place. But the wheels will keep moving in the same direction, because it's all window dressing. It's all smoke and mirrors, designed to distract us from bringing up the real issues. And it's possible, but it has to be enough of us are angry and upset to call them out. So I just want to bring you that quick message, something to think about and ponder on. Stop blaming the president. Understand that there's a shadow government, a hidden government that's calling the shots, and that the president is just going along with the wishes of this elite shadow group. That's all there is to it. And no matter who you elect and put in office, nothing's going to change until those behind the scenes are exposed. And then when that day comes, that's going to be a real shocker for a lot of people, you know. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in today for this message. You know, donate to the channel if you get a chance. I see some people on the other channels, and they're always like donating like all the time. And I'm like, well, no one's donating here. That's kind of interesting. And I'm putting out nice content. But if you're in the position to do so, donate to the channel. I want to thank you. Let me see, just Wise Woman Hetep, Michael, Hetepu, J Mo, Namaste. Who else we have here? Drew Isis, Hetepu. Yes, thanks for attending today. And just sorry about that. The great thing that you guys could really do that will put us all into the right path is to really start working with the vibration of whole brain thinking, because that's going to bring solutions to what we're dealing with. And you're going to awaken your third eye and begin to see through the hologram. You're going to be able to see exactly what's going on. Too many of us, and we can't be angry at our brothers and sisters who are caught up in the matrix and still distracted and going in the wrong direction. But the stronger our vibration is based on truth and whole brain thinking and awakening our third eye to Uchat, the more that they'll align and come on board. So there's no need to debate them, to argue with them, and to tell them, oh, you're placing your anger in the wrong person. Trump is just a figurehead. It's good that you'll mention that and bring that up, but you don't have to do that. The thing that you need to really focus on, to be honest with you, because it's about Ma'at, the interconnectedness and interdependence between all things in the world. And you're connected to others in this matrix web. So the way you think, they will pick up on that vibration and start to think just the same. So what you can do is to make your vibration so powerful and so strong that when you come in contact, whether near or far, they will pick up on that frequency and they will start acting different. You understand? That's all you have to do. And that's been my practice on a daily basis. It's not to, in the left brain Western mindset, I have to become the greatest role model there is. I'm not looking to be a role model. But what I'm doing, an after effect will be becoming a role model. But what I am doing is trying to empower myself to become Osiris, to become the strongest magician, the most powerful magician I can. And when that power emanates from me, it'll cause people to change their whole perspective on life just from being around my energy. Thank you, Drew Isis. Tepu. Oh, Hess, thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I had a period of where I was doing a lot of Qigong and doing a lot of energy. And that energy was attuned to certain women. And when I would come around them, they would pass out. And I was just like, all right, what is going on? Why does this keep happening? And that you begin to realize when you see things like that, that you have magic, you have powers. And those powers will allow you to do things, not from a physical perspective, but from a metaphysical perspective. And then the stronger you are, the stronger you become, the more the reality around you will start to change. If you're looking to get $1 million, it's not a matter of where would I get $1 million from? What business can I start to get $1 million? No, the question is, how powerful the magi do I have to become to manifest $1 million? That's the question. Because you can get a business and it could fail. It could bring a lot of money in, it can fail. But when you get to the point of where you have real magic, if the money comes and goes, you can manifest more and more and more and more because you have the power to do so. You never lose. You're always abundant. Thank you, Michael Hatepu. Dwa. And we shortchange ourselves all the time because we think that, you had these ministers for a time being that were being exposed for having extramarital affairs and all these things. And they admitted they weren't good role models. But I said, you shouldn't have been trying to be a role model. You should have tried to be the best god or goddess you could be. And in pursuing that, it would have aligned everything else in your life properly, and you wouldn't have been exposed. These charlatans on the pulpit, they're not trying to be God. They're not trying to be the best versions of themselves. They're trying to fool you into believing that they are. That's their goal. Trump is just trying to fool you to believe, make you believe that he has power, that he's in office. He's not. The Congress, the Senate, all of that is just a staged event. It's a staged event that has been put together to rob you of your power because they want you to believe that voting is power. No, not voting for these clowns. I guarantee you, whatever happens with the November elections and who becomes president, they will start a war. There will be another war. There'll be another COVID-19. He absolutely knows that, ISIS. He absolutely knows that now. I agree with you. So your task is to be a god or goddess. And that doesn't mean you can't be other things. I want you to understand, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a doctor, you will be a powerful doctor if you mix magic in there. You will be a powerful actor if you mix magic in there. You will be freaking unstoppable. But this is why the system is set up to distract you from going for that. They don't want you to go for that. They don't want you to ask the right questions. So think about that. You guys came through. Thank you so much for the donations. It is much appreciated. I just want to make this quick broadcast because I really don't like the deflection tactics, and it really was concerning me how everybody we create these fictional enemies and these fictional characters. You know, every presidency has got to be an enemy. It's Saddam Hussein. It's COVID-19. It's the Al Qaeda. It's always got to be a fictional enemy so that they can galvanize the people and keep them distracted from the enemy in our own office. This is the game they play every 4 years. Thank you. This is Kasak Ma Keperu, son of Ma and Tahuti. My aunt is a beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amin Ra.